Time now for an in-depth look at the market news on this Friday. And for that, I'm joined on the line by Mr. Daniel Yu, global strategist at Yuanta Securities. Mr. Yu, good to have you back on.
Good afternoon.
Well, as things settle down from the U.S. election, investors are still looking forward to new stimulus from the Biden administration. On Wall Street, the Dow and the S&P not moving much on Thursday, but the Nasdaq had a solid gain. Obviously, people are wondering whether valuations are too high. What's the story in the global markets?
Yes, after the inauguration of the U.S. market kind of taking a little bit of breather. On the day of inauguration, the market jumped quite significantly, but yesterday, market kind of stayed flat. Dow Jones was down by about 0.1%. S&P edged up very slightly by 0.1%. And also Nasdaq slightly rose by about 0.6%. All in all, we already know that the economic conditions still poor. Despite that, continuation of the policies that are positive for the economy, including the quite aggressive monetary policy as well as the fiscal policy, is making the market to be quite steady. I think that you need some more of the actual number coming through, particularly on the economic numbers as well as the earnings number in the future in order for the market to further go up. Most of the December results are coming in, and most likely these numbers should be reasonably in line. I think the market is looking for somewhat more improvement for the first quarter results. For the time being, though, because of the ample liquidity and that the direction is in the right direction, that the earnings and economic growth rates are all improving, we think that the market should be reasonably okay for the time being. We just need some more of positive signals for the market to go up further.
And today in Korea, stocks were up and down through the session. Ultimately, both main indices closing lower. Retail investors were big buyers, though. Tell us about the local markets.
Yes, pretty much the same as what U.S. market did. Because U.S. market did not show further direction, Korean market, after quite significant rise, it took some breather. It was down around 0.6% somewhat. And the reason for that is because we continue to see quite large case of the COVID-19, as well as some of the uncertainties regarding the economic recovery for the global scale. But nevertheless, quite a lot of the numbers are coming out, seems to be showing that the economy is improving on a global scale. The export numbers, we'll talk about a little bit more later, but all in all, it seems to indicate that COVID-19 issues are dwindling down in terms of the overall economic activities. So therefore, our market is probably in a good position to further go up once the improvement comes through and the earnings are coming through in a positive direction. We do think that the Korea's earnings are going to rise quite significantly this year. It's just question is how much. I think the market is pricing in somewhere around 20% plus of earnings growth this year. If that numbers becomes higher than expected, then obviously market can go up further.
You alluded to exports, and we do see that Korea's exports in the first 20 days of this year were up about almost 11% from the same period last year. It's expected that they could continue to improve this year despite the pandemic. Tell us more about the story in exports.
Yes, South Korea's export rose about 10.6% on the year of the first 20 days of January. The actual shipment amount amounted about 28.2 billion in the first 20 days versus 25.5 billion a year earlier. So clearly quite a sizable improvement. And the level of the growth per day is actually doing very well. So this is the positive implications, and that the overall export numbers are improving for Korea. The improvement coming from the outbound shipment of memory chips, that showed a 11.6% year-on-year growth rate. And also the oil sectors gained 15.7% year-on-year. And telecommunication devices actually soared 60.5%. All in all, we are very positive about the semiconductor cycle. We are expecting semiconductor cycle to be very positive for year 2021. as well as year 2022. If that kind of trend happens, then we might see super cycle of semiconductor business. And if we're seeing this kind of thing happening, then the semiconductor equipment side will be also improving. A lot of the electronic goods side will be improving as well. So all in all, these numbers are definitely indicating that the Korean market, Korean economic growth rate will improve in the future. That will result into better Kospi index in the future.
Got it. All right, Mr. Yu, thanks so much for sharing your insights with us today, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.